In the studio, our special guests have been debating the training of vets for the future. Are more vet graduates a good idea or a problem? Julie MacDonald asks our panel.
In recent years, 2 new vet schools have opened in Nottingham and Surrey, and there's talk of another one in Wales. There's also been an increase in the number of places at the traditional school, which all adds up to more undergraduates entering the profession. So, Helena, as a student who's facing this increased competition, how do you feel about it and your fellow students?
So I think, on the whole, vet students are fiercely proud of being vet students. It's very competitive to get into vet school. So the immediate response to this increase in vet student numbers is, oh no, this is a terrible thing. This is going to put pressure on jobs, on EMS placements. So I think it is a fiercely sort of protective view that vet students have. I think people do realise that there is huge potential, more competition should improve standards, but I think there is also those concerns and worries about sort of the competition in a negative way.
Claire, these are very real worries that lots of different students in different professions would have. Can you do anything to allay these fears?
Sure. So absolutely, I completely agree with you. They're very realistic fears. But I actually see it as a sign of strength and growth of the profession. I feel like what we're starting to see is a response to demand from the market. So we're hearing from employers that they need more vets out there on the ground in clinical jobs and in some of those other non-traditional career pathways. But I also think that because there's a diversification of the roles of veterinarians in practice and elsewhere, we need to be doing a better job of recruiting students from a broader pool of applicants definitely. As well. And that will actually help to increase some of those and maintain some of those high standards that we hope will continue to further the profession.
We've got to realise and put the additional UK vet schools in the wider context of Europe and the rest of the world. We're members of the EU, there's free movement of professionals. So we're not talking about 6 or 8 or maybe 9 vet schools in the UK. All the graduates of any vet school in the EU, which is approved by the member states' government, can legitimately come and work here. And they do. I mean, for many, many years now, we've been admitting to the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons almost as many graduates trained overseas as we have trained ourselves. And they're all getting soaked up in jobs one way or another. So I don't think the fears are understandable, but I don't think they're borne out by reality.
Gudrun, what's your view? Why is there that gap between what people think is happening and what's actually happening?
We need to accept that there is a problem with the EMS placements, which is prior to getting the jobs. It's the placements that the students do. And if they're finding that is difficult to get, I can understand that they may then see that as going on to the job market as well and being the same. The more students we have out there, there is a huge pressure on practices to offer these placements and take the students, and I think that's probably where some of this fear is coming from. I
just want to pick up and endorse what Gudrun says, though, about EMS. It's something that we treasure in the UK. We call it extramural studies. It would be called work-based learning in other programmes. It's hugely valuable. We talked earlier about the curriculum. You learn a lot of things like people skills, communication and so on, and business skills on your work-based training. But because of the challenges of logistically providing EMS now, there's a risk that's going to go. Because it is unique, actually, the UK. The European vet schools don't do it, and indeed other schools around the world, by and large, don't do it. But I think it's an extra 6 months of work-based learning, which is hugely valuable, particularly for these softer skills training. And it would be a great tragedy if we were to lose the capacity to do that because we had a huge number of vet schools in the UK.
And I think actually that helps to create the community of the profession in a very fundamental way. And I didn't fully appreciate that until I worked in other countries where they don't have EMS and you don't have those links between students and practitioners. That there's much more of a culture shock for students when they go out into practice. having never been on EMS in other systems. And that actually brings me back to another point that Lord Trees made, that the globalisation actually works both ways. You know, we're seeing foreign veterinary graduates coming into the country. I think we have a huge strength in terms of our veterinary education here, and we can prepare our students to go out into other countries and provide leadership to those countries because of the unique opportunities that they have in their veterinary educations here in the UK.
So it sounds to me it's about flexibility and it's about being bold enough to have those conversations right now. Thank you.